Well, you gotta look at it this way. Apollo 11, you get aliens surrounding this lunar module, and you get Neil Armstrong coming out, and then Buzz Aldrin, and they're like, oh, these guys are wimps. What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
And then he comes out sipping an Ovaltine.
Oh
Is
no.
one small step for man, one giant boot in your ass if you fucking try anything. You gray dick. I'm gonna fuck you up, and fucking Collins is gonna be up there in the cuck chair watching the whole game go down. So fuck you. Maybe he got a little too cozy with some of these birds.
Only explanation I have in where a Fiat Uno could keep up with a Mercedes S280. Okay.
It's not that I wouldn't fight Mothman. I would beat the shit out of him.
We're seasoned.
So wait, you mean to tell me they have a festival commemorating the day a man got his shit rocked by an extraterrestrial carrot?
My neighbors across the street, they are not real.
But a pyramid is the most boring shape.
Part Sasquatch, part trickster midget. What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us in the Conspiracy Kitchen, where we uncover the secret ingredients behind life's daily mysteries. I'm your head chef, Joe, accompanied by my sous chef, Josh. How you doing?
Good evening.
And yeah, we're coming again a little late. I know we're giving you excuses here. We had some personal stuff, I guess, going on. Something happened to Josh during the week, so we did get kind of pushed it back, but we're here. Don't worry. We're here, and we're going to get it out at the end of the week again, another episode, and get back on track for you guys.
Do you mind if I complain a little?
Yeah, you can complain. You can do whatever you want.
Awesome. Okay. So this past week was my wedding anniversary, which I'm not complaining about that. 3 amazing years. Can't be happier.
Nice. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. You were at the wedding.
I was.
So we had a great time. We went to breakfast, then we had dinner. It was a good day. Dealt with the contractors in the middle of the day for like 5 minutes. That was fun. But sorry, my cat is loud as shit tonight. I'll get into that too. But the next day we went to Queens because my wife gets her hair done there. There's a spot that she likes to go to, so I drive her when we go. My complaint is New York is awful.
Yes.
Dude, it's so bad. Like, I get the glamour of it. Like when you see it in movies, people are like, oh, I gotta go to the city. I gotta make something of myself. How? It's a shithole. I'm sorry, but like, dude, driving into the city is fine. Like, we get there, it's no problem. I park, I wait. Leaving is the nightmare. It took us almost 3 hours to get out of the city. And my wife has made fun of me in the past. She's like, well, it's Queens. It's not really the city. I'm like, look, the buildings are huge. There's no parking. Everyone's a dick. It's the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it took
I need
us...
parking.
Yeah, exactly. I need fucking parking. And I got lucky, though, because I think the first 2 times we went, I had to, like, drive across town to a parking garage and, like, look for one. But then the 3rd time we went, I got very lucky because I found a church right around the corner from where we go. And they have a big parking lot and nobody checks it. So I just go and park there and hang out on TikTok for like 3 hours and wait. But yeah, dude, just this past time, I don't know what I think it's because I got in the car accident a few weeks ago. I'm still a little on edge. But like driving through the city with all the traffic, because the congestion now is so much worse than before. And then I don't know what it was. It was just I was so angry. I yelled at so many pedestrians. Like, I was stopped. I was at a red light, and a guy was crossing the street in front of me, pushing a stroller, and he looks up and gives me a dirty look, and I couldn't stop myself. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? Push your stroller and leave. Fuck off.
Yeah, driving there sucks, dude.
Oh, it's fucking awful. And our friend, our Call of Duty expert, drives there a lot because he has family there. So he visits all the time, but he's like, yeah, I'm going to drive. I'm not going to take the train. I don't know how he does it all the time. It's a nightmare.
I hate it.
Ugh.
I hate it. So I only go to the city for a handful of reasons, and I haven't been there in a while. Yankees games, you can just get on the Cross Bronx and go right off, and there's a parking garage right there. Although I've switched to, I go to like New Brunswick, take a train. The New York Auto Show, I would just take a ferry. I would drive into like I think it's Hoboken there, take a ferry across, park the car, and then take the ferry across. The 9/11 Museum, awesome place. I don't know if you've been there. Fantastic. They did a really good job there. I took the free ferry from Staten Island, drive to Staten Island. Staten Island's, obviously part of the 5 boroughs of the city, but it's really not. It's a lot of parking, open space. And then just take like, you can either walk it a couple blocks or, take an Uber or a taxi or whatever. I avoid driving in there if I have to. I hate driving in there. I hate it. I used to drive in there sometimes for the previous job I had, just because there'd be, it was part of, if an ambulance went in there, I used to work in ambulances. Other than that, dude, I hate it. I hate it. I don't know how our Cody expert likes driving in there. Does he like driving in there? He just does it.
He doesn't mind it. He's having the time of his life.
Fuck that. Just take the train.
Well, it's like, yeah, exactly. Just take the fucking train or a bus. But like, dude, the reason it pissed me off, not just the people, but like, for those of you who've never been to the city, and don't understand what we're talking about, there's a specific turn in Queens where you go under a tunnel, a small tunnel, and then you come out, and there's 3 big signs, and each sign is a different direction you could go in. So it's left, middle, right. Now, I always have to go to the left, but it's physically impossible to get there because there's 4 lanes in my way, and they're always just jam-packed of people who don't want to give you the time of day to let you in. So then I get stuck in the middle, which going left, I'd get out of the city in 20 minutes. Getting stuck in the middle takes me fucking cross town. And I'm going 18 blocks in a completely different direction. And then it's like, fuck you, you're going to hang out with us for the day and stay in the city. And I'm like, great, this is fun.
There's no courtesy over there.
No.
Like, I drive a lot for work, obviously, to different sites, and like, I have courtesy. Like, I'll let, no one understands courtesy, like letting just slowing down, letting someone make a left in front of you that's holding up a freaking mile long of traffic. You know how much better that likes traffic flow, but no one ever thinks of doing anything like that. They're in their own little bubble. And that's why I hate going anywhere where there's a ton of congestion, because you get fucked.
It's fucking awful, dude. And like, I'll be the nice one and I'll let people in, but God forbid you have any courtesy, because then everyone behind you is like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, all right, calm down.
They'll blow the horn at you. Yeah. Wow. You're not wasting any time, because by the time I let that person in and then we move back up and catch up the traffic, we're in the same spot. So just relax a minute.
And like, I can't tell you how many assholes on. You ever see the city bikes? Those those shitty bikes that they keep on the side for anybody to like rent and use. Yeah. Dude, I can't tell you how many of those assholes just bumped into our car.
Yeah, and they don't care.
They don't give a fuck, because they're going to be 4 blocks ahead of you while you're sitting in traffic. But, yeah, so...
I remember going there when I was young, as a kid, to go to, I don't even remember what grave it was. I guess some part of the family that distanced. And, dude, like I was young, single digits age probably. Every block we turned down, someone was like, I wash your car. Like, they wanted to wash your car or wash your windows, right, for a tip. And I'm like, just please. I'm like sitting in the backseat, like, what are we doing, please? I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, just let me play on my Game Boy Pocket. And these people are banging on the fucking windows.
And you know what? I wouldn't even mind that if they did. I would give them a nice tip. But they always clean it with a dirty fucking newspaper that they found in the gutter. Like, you're making it worse, asshole.
Now, if it's a good, clean newspaper, I've never found anything better than newspaper for a nice streak-free shine. That's what I use on my service truck all the time. I get newspaper. But it has to be clean, and they got to use, obviously, window cleaner. They can't spit on the newspaper and then rub it. It doesn't work.
No,
But a nice streak-free shine newspaper.
They don't even spit on it. They take an old Burger King cup where the ice melted, and they throw it on the glass, and they just wipe it down with a muddy newspaper, and then they expect a tip. Dude, it's fucking awful. And like, you can't. We said earlier, take the train or the bus. I'm sorry, we will get on topic at some point, but I have to rant.
Yeah.
We took. Fuck this, dude. We took the train into the city not too long ago. I was with my wife and her cousins. And you get there, and people are like, oh, the subways, they've never been safer. Have you seen the cops in the subway? They don't do anything. I witnessed 8 crimes in a row, and none of them did anything. And, like, there's people jumping the turnstiles, and people, like, pickpocketing each other, and it's hell on earth down there. Yeah, it really is. And they stand around because they can't be bothered. It's just fucking enraging. But aside from that...
nothing beats turning to go down into the subway, and there's just a homeless man peeing right there, and, yeah.
Yeah, or there's that famous video of the guy mopping in the subway, and the homeless guy just sits on the bucket and takes a shit in it. And everyone's like, oh, that's so staged. It's not staged. That's what happens on a daily basis.
It's just the normal.
It's very normal for there. Nobody even know. They're like, yeah, that's Timmy. He's taking a shit again. But yeah, so that was that day, and then today I had we have our 2 boy cats, and they got fixed today, so they got their balls chopped. So got up early, pushed them into the crates because they fight me on everything, and then took them there. They did their business. I picked them up around like 4 o'clock, and they're home making noise. I'm in another room because they have the cones on their head, and they're just bumping into the wall. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just move to the bedroom and fucking prop myself up on the bed.
There you go. Be comfortable.
Yeah, but then I got the 3 other cats fucking knocking shit over. I'm looking at her right now. She's about to knock something over. This bitch.
Well, we all right. Well, we were off topic for 11 minutes, but
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
It makes you feel better. Yeah, that's what a nice grumble does for you.
Yeah.
But the main reason we're here tonight, and for you guys to listen tomorrow morning, I guess, or whenever on your commute, is we wanted to talk about the moon landings and the Apollo missions. Were they real? A lot of people don't think they're real. I'm just going to come out and say, I believe we did land on the moon. There's a lot of evidence that shows that. I don't know if you think it. Do you think that people land on the moon?
I think they did, but not when they said they did.
Okay. So we're going to go in 2 different directions. We both agree that we were there at one point. I know a lot of stuff's going around, recently. We got the Artemis missions coming up, which I'm excited for, sending people back. But there's been a lot of, I think, conspiracies. I mean, we're conspiracy theorists, but a lot of people talk about how we never went to the moon, for one, because they're like, oh, NASA says now we lost the technology, which is not exactly true. It's you're mishearing what they're saying. But we can't get the radiation belt, right, Josh? They talk about that all the time. You can't go through it. We have a hard time going through it right now. And they're like, well, how do they do it back then? They can't do it now. Well, one thing is we try to monitor now. From the 60s to now, we understand radiation and long-term effects. It's a lot stricter on radiation intake. And I understand this too, because I go to the nuke plant a lot. They're very strict on how much radiation you can take in. I get that. And 2, the instrumentation on these newer style spacecraft are a lot more advanced and sensitive than what was on the Saturn rockets in the 60s. So a lot of people don't want to agree with me, but I know for a fact radiation does mess with them, messes with our equipment. When we have CAN bus circuits near radiation, it does mess with them. It throws fault codes and makes them fucked up. And it's a little different to have, I mean, if you're in an ultra boom 180 feet in the air, you don't want shit messing up, but you're not really going to have an ultra boom 180 feet in the air with radiation. But a spaceship where your, computer... CAN bus is just communication between different computers. So that's messing up while you're in space. I don't know if I'd want to be able to deal with that or want that to happen. And I understand you need more shielding, and they're trying to work on something for that. That's why I believe all that crap where they're saying, "Oh, we never went to the moon because of this," and the radiation belt. They say we can't go through and everything. I get what they're coming from with it, and I 100% agree. And I deal with radiation affecting computer systems quite frequently, so I understand where they're coming from that, and I kind of agree with that. The Saturn probably didn't give a fuck as much, wasn't as sensitive. This new stuff is going to be extremely sensitive to radiation. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think just stop going completely out of your way and trying to find a reason for it not to happen. Same thing with flat Earth pages. They always they go too far out of the way, and then they bitch at me. You call yourself a conspiracy podcast, but you don't believe in flat Earth. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not a conspiracy podcast where I just blindly believe everything that's opposite of the mainstream narrative. I look for the truth. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right, Josh?
Yeah, and just accepting that Earth is flat. It doesn't make you better than us. It means you stopped looking into the truth and you're an asshole.
Yeah, they say you're indoctrined by schooling because there's no way I know we're getting into a flat Earth thing, but no way you will be able to think that the Earth was a globe spinning and all the speeds. They always they throw all these speeds out of 1,000 miles per hour at the road spinning at the equator, and we're 500. I try to explain to them, and they don't really like to listen to me. Speed is not a force, and it's irrelevant when it comes to rotation. The Earth is rotating at 0.000694 revolutions per minute. I want you to think about that. Take a ball and spin it that slowly. Take a ball and have it spin where it comes all the way around, and it takes a whole day for it to spin. You're not even going to notice it spinning. The size of the Earth is what gets you that linear speed that really is irrelevant. It's just a way to measure. They're trying to measure the speed at the equator, but it's irrelevant. It's all about revolutions per minute. That's why you don't feel it. But anyway, I'm going to reel off talking because I've been trying to get a flat earther to come on here, and they agree, and then they back out. So eventually I hope we get a flat earther on here, and we're not going to bash, we're not going to, talk shit. We just want them to try to convince us. Because we are, at the end of the day, trying to find the truth, but my observations have seen a globe.
It's just the fact that they're like, oh, you call yourself a conspiracy podcast, this and that, but it's like, dude, like every argument they have has been disproven.
Yes.
And they go, it's like, no, it's not true, no. Like, no, you sound
CGI.
Stupid. Yeah, exactly.
Gravity's fake to them. Like, that's what I did a lot of science in high school and college. And physics was one of the things, I went to Princeton for that's nonsense. I understand how gravity works. There's no natural downward vector, which they try to say, and then use buoyancy. It doesn't work. There has to be some kind of, you can't really call it a force though, because there's new ways of saying it that it bends space-time, so you follow the curve, whatever they want to try to say it is. But there has to be a reason why we go down towards the center of the planet. And that's what that is. It's gravity. Enough of this nonsense. There's no gravity. It's buoyancy. Doesn't make any sense at all. But we'll get into another time when we finally get a flat earther on here. John, why are people so adamant, besides the NASA, when they're saying about the can't get to moon now, why do so many people think Apollo 11 be the first time we landed on the moon, I'm sorry. Why do so many people think that's fake, besides what I just said before?
There's a number of theories on that, like a bunch. So, you got to look at the time it happened in. So, what was happening around then? Vietnam? Yeah, that war going on.
Cold War.
Yeah, all that. And some of those protests, by the way, during that time for those wars, was the most violent fucking protests that they had. Like, dude, they fucking, what was it? The Battle of Michigan Avenue, when they fought. It was protesters outside the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, and they were fighting National Guardsmen in the street, beating the shit out of each other. Like, that's the kind of shit that was happening in our country when this happened. So, a good way to kind of, I don't know, unite people for even a day, calm shit down, would be to have a grand spectacle that everybody has to stop and watch. So, I don't know. I think that's a good reason to fake something. Also, the space race, that was,
Yeah, with the
another reason.
Soviets.
Yeah, and you can't, back then especially, you can't come in second to the Soviets, especially if you're
No.
America, because what would the rest of the world think of you? But,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's, I don't know, it's just easier to do it in a studio and just have the whole world believe it. I mean, who's gonna question it at the time? Who's gonna know?
See, what I go against that when people say, well, just do it in a Hollywood studio, fake it, whatever. The Soviets would be the first to say we faked it because obviously they're in the space race with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want to go there too. They were the first. They had the first satellite in space. If we faked it and we said we went, we never did. I guarantee you that the Soviets were watching when we went to the moon.
Yeah.
They would have called our bullshit out so fast. And then now, I mean, I'm sure even if they didn't call it out then, now there'd be evidence we never went or whatever. China would be calling us out. Russia would be calling us out. Any adversary, Iran, North Korea, would call us out saying we were faked it. Just to say we faked it, just to show we faked it, to lower our credibility on the world stage, right? That's what I feel. So, to me, I just don't see us faking it unless we can fake to the entire world that has surveillance and has satellites themselves in space. That seems extremely hard to do.
Well, not to talk more shit, but the ones who originally said it was filmed in a studio was the Flat Earth Society. So,
Yeah, well, the Flat Earth Society also says there's no such thing as space. It's an impenetrable firmament over the Earth that you cannot get through. But again, we will do an episode later. If we might do two. Maybe we'll discuss Flat Earth and then bring a Flat Earther on afterwards to try to convince us and talk to us about these, because they all talk about their P1000 cameras, right? And they can zoom back in stuff over the horizon, so it can't be a horizon. It's your eyes don't see very far. That's their claim to fame for the horizon, but we'll get to that.
It's all horse shit.
We're keep back to the flat Earth thing, but listen, and another, just to say it, I would love it if it was flat. Like some of their maps, like I look at some of the maps and it has the ice wall and the outer worlds around it, are fucking sick. I enjoy looking at them and like, man, if this was fucking real, it'd be awesome. Just looking at this information, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's not real. So I would love it to be, but it's not.
I've seen a lot of those maps because they are very interesting, and I too would love for that to be real. I was looking at one in particular, and I just started laughing because I was like, okay, there's the ice wall. This is cool. What's this? Wait a minute. That's from fucking Lord of the Rings. What the fuck is that doing there? And I just started laughing. I was like, they couldn't even be bothered to make up shit. But the whole thing with it being allegedly filmed in a studio, they claimed it was funded by Walt Disney and filmed by Stanley Kubrick. Now, the one problem I have with that, I feel like it would have looked better had it been Kubrick. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think it would have looked so much better. Better soundtrack. Oh.
They talk about what the flag is wrong, the lighting.
Oh,
They're trying to say the lighting's wrong. That's why it didn't happen. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why the lighting looked the way it did. There's no atmosphere on the moon. Difference, it reflects the light differently. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff.
So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because the pictures and videos part is something I dug into. And a lot of people said the crosshairs on the lens of the camera, some of the pictures, the crosshair is in front of the object, and some pictures it's behind, like something was superimposed over it. but that could have just been a lens issue. Um, in all the pictures, there's no stars.
I get why there's no stars, though. I mean,
Yeah, but
um,
also,
the, and a lot of people have argued with me about that. The sun and the earth are going to be the brightest thing in your proximity, right? So I've argued with these, and I've told them to do it themselves. If you're focusing on the earth, taking a picture of the earth or whatever, your camera exposure is going to, adjust because of the brightness of the earth. So if you go outside right now on a nice night, look at the moon, and you see all the stars, whatever, take your phone and let it adjust its exposure to the brightness of the moon, you'll see all them stars disappear on the screen. It's going to adjust that exposure time and reduce the light from those stars around it, and it's going to be black skies. That's what I say. I tell people all the time that, and they don't really want to believe me, but I get it. It's fine. And then the stars, I mean, it's not, they're far apart. No one understands that either. They're very far apart. I mean, you can see them here, but focusing on the earth, you're not going to, there's black spots in the sky you're going to see too, if you're, out there during, at night looking up at the sky.
yeah. And the star argument, they say it's because, if they faked the whole thing, they didn't want astronomers looking at, where the star placement was and matching it to see that it wasn't taken from the moon or some shit. Which I get, but it's a little far-fetched. Compared to all the other shit that they're claiming that, NASA missed.
Yeah.
But
I feel like they would have just hired an astronomer. The amount of money they were getting funded for the moon mission, if you're not going to actually send this craft to space, you're going to have a shit ton of money in just production, right? You could hire someone to do all the freaking math and calculations you want and be like, this is where those stars are, and just put them in. Put them in. That's just me.
Then everybody bitches about the shadows and how they don't make sense. And how they don't think it's the sun. They think it's artificial lights on a film set. And then, of course, the famous flag argument where it's like, well, why is it blowing in the breeze? And it's like, oh, if it was on the moon, it wouldn't be upright like that. It would be like slumped over. But it's like, no, it was on an L bracket on the fucking flagpole, so it could be held up so you could see it's an American flag.
Yeah.
It's not yep. Hard. It's actual rocket scientists doing that for you. Another one, this one kind of was interesting. There's multiple pictures of different like moon rocks that have a C on them. It looks like a C. And people are like, oh, that looks like that could be, a stage prop marked with a C. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
They would never, ever let that happen.
No, they wouldn't.
You couldn't, if you're going to try to stage something that you need to fool the entire world, you wouldn't just, oh yeah, use this rock with a C on it. They would make sure not, right? Stop. There's no way.
It would be such an oversight.
That'd be fucking horrible.
The one that always gets me is the pictures of the footprint from Neil Armstrong's boot.
Yeah.
And how on his spacesuit it's like on the footprint on the ground, it's like there's ridges in it. Mm-hmm. And then you see the bottom of his boot after the fact, and it's completely smooth. I don't know. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, it's two different footprints. How did that happen?
Well, apparently they put something over their foot.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what a spacesuit is, it goes over all of you, not just your face. So it's going to be a boot on a boot situation.
Yeah, boot on a boot. Yes.
Yeah. talking two pairs, folks.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. They show both. I think they show both. Actually, they show you all his gear, but they conveniently leave that out. And now we're sitting here. We've been defending it for about 15 minutes, though. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we both agree that they went exactly what NASA says. It
No.
did. Not at all. I don't think that's the case in any way. But I believe, and I guess Josh believes too, that we actually did have at some point humans on the moon and brought him back several times. But not just the way they said it was. Now, I know we have two different theories here, Josh.
Yes, two very, very different theories.
Very different. I mean, I did like Josh's. I do, and it could be a possibility as well. I believe this whole thing was set up as a distraction for the real missions to Mars. Or I mean, not Mars. What am I saying? Where am I going? To the moon. And that was for helium-3 mining, a very rare isotope that we were either competing to get with aliens or the Nazis. Now, that's just the Nazis did make their moon base. Most likely aliens, I'll say that. But, I mean, it's a possibility, right, that if the Nazis did go through with making their moon base, we were trying to compete with getting as much helium-3 as we could from the moon and have that competition on the planet. And before the Soviets got to it, because to me, whoever controls the helium-3 has a global dominance in power supply, and that's where you make a lot of money. A lot. And Josh's theory was a little different, right?
Yeah, so my theory was, it sounds insane, but it's also not hard to believe. Like,
No.
In my opinion, this is my theory, that we were not from here originally.
Right.
I feel like we were put here as an observation experiment, kind of like an ant farm situation with some sea monkey type shit. And then I believe that the moon is hollow and artificial, and inside of it is a huge machine that's keeping Earth sustainable. So you know how it controls the tides, it controls the axis tilt, it controls the seasons. Basically, it makes it habitable. And I feel like, in my opinion, it's too, like, as imperfect as our world is. You have natural disasters, fucking awful places to live like the desert, but like, you gotta look at it. It's still kind of too perfect to be chance, because it is livable. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like this was done on purpose.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could be. I see where you're going there. I mean, so you're thinking that aliens brought humanity here. They seeded the planet.
Yeah. And it's another way that you can look at it, like, I don't know, it's just the moon, measurement-wise, is perfect for what it is. Because to make a perfect solar eclipse, I mean, the moon has to be perfect size, which it is. It's 2,160 miles at its equator. And for a perfect solar eclipse, it could be no more, no less than that, and it's exactly what it's supposed to be. So,
yeah, at that exact distance from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And it's just, I don't know, it seems too perfect to be chance.
Yeah. And there's things I agree with you on. We have discovered meteors that have crashed into either Antarctica or Australia area with RNA and DNA building blocks on them, which would kind of tell me that DNA, or the recipe for life, can be transferred from outer space, even on a meteor, it seems like. Now, someone else also had that theory, I think, Himmler, but we're a little different than that, right? And it does make a lot of sense to me too, in the fact that life appeared here about 4 billion years ago, right after the heavy bombardment from all the nonsense going on when our solar system was forming and all this shit was flying around, until we finally got these nice orbits of all the planets. But everything else on this planet seems to be a lot different than what we are, right? the intelligence, the ability to think critically, basically self-awareness of what we are. There's not really any other living creature on this planet that has everything we have. And I believe we talked about this in other episodes. We have unique issues that all these other animals on this planet don't have. We're the only ones that need assistance in birth. Right? I think I brought that up before. There's no other living creatures out there that need assistance in giving birth. The fact that we have our skeletons don't support the pull of gravity, our backs over time begin to shrink, right? Our spine compresses over time. Humans have back issues. This is not a widespread issue among any other living creature on this planet. Those things alone kind of show me, maybe we didn't come from here. Maybe our DNA is adjusted for a smaller planet, right? Which would be less gravity, which is why our spines would not compress, but they compress here. We have a lot of back issues among humans, right? Especially when we get older, right? Now that we're in our 30s, Josh, you feel them back issues, don't you?
I'm feeling it now. This chair sucks.
He's feeling it now. I'm feeling it. I'm actually feeling it too. So, like, stuff like that makes me think, hey, maybe we did come from somewhere else. It's a huge possibility.
No,
and if these aliens did seed it, like you were saying, a little ant farm, they're, kind of helping us out with this time. Like I was talking about in ancient civilizations in that episode, they were kind of like cradling us, helping us go. And once we kind of started taking off and forming a society, they kind of went back to a secondary role and just observed, right? Whether it be in the oceans, like I was talking about, or from the moon, or anywhere else, just to see how we're doing.
No, the Earth's flat. Space isn't real. No, that's why, I don't know, I feel like that's why we have UFO sightings, because they periodically come to check in, see what's going on.
Check in.
How are my ants doing?
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with you in the fact that I do think that we might have come from a different point of the universe besides here. And that's why maybe Atlas 3I could actually be. It could be another probe sent out to monitor us and see how we're doing from afar. And they don't get, any type of interference when we're looking at it. Now the aliens could be in our waters, which I kind of do believe from ancient times. They live in these deep crevices that we haven't explored yet at all. But it's to me, it's a very high possibility. Our genetic makeup did not come from this planet. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, look at the evolution. There's breaks in the evolution. Follow the fossil chains, there's breaks that we cannot account for, and we have no idea why. And going back, billions of years, nothing evolved intelligence-wise until about 50,000 years ago. We decided to start doing cave drawings. And then, boom, within 50,000 years, which is relatively not a lot of time, it's a blink of an eye to the universe. We went from drawing cave drawings on a wall to creating nukes and living in what we do now with AI, ability to send messages anywhere on the planet like we're doing right now. Nothing else could do that. For billions of years they were alive. All different types of species. We come on and we just run through advanced intelligence. Just make this the way we have it now. It doesn't make sense to me.
No. I genuinely, like I said, it's not by chance. It can't be. And everyone's going to come at me and say, oh, the Big Bang, just because you don't understand it, blah, blah, blah. Look at it. Look at it, though. How is this all by chance? Fucking how? And it's like, oh, it's Goldilocks zone. It's going to happen. No, it's not going to just happen. Fuck off.
So you're thinking all the habitable planets are by creation or design.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it could go back to the fact that I said maybe there's a game master and this is a simulation that we live in. You could tie that in too, right? All these habitable zones. Because it doesn't seem, when we look at a lot of things around, we do have close habitable zones, close relatively, light years away, obviously, but still, that support some kind of liquid water. And we even got the one Saturn moon, I forgot the name of it now, shit, that we might actually think, hey, this could support life as we know it now. We have, whatever they do, I have to look into it more. However, the light bounces off something in the probes and they can tell what it is, and they believe it has salt water on this one moon of Saturn. And that could lead to, well, maybe there's possibility of microbes and stuff on this planet. And we would be able to find out that we do have something else living in the solar system with us. I saw that the other day, which is pretty interesting to me too. I can't wait to them to confirm something else besides us, because we can't be the only thing, and that's the big thing for flat earthers, is that we're the center of creation. You know what I mean? And they take the Bible, they take it from the Bible, and they take it extremely literally. And that's another thing I have to do. I argue with these flat earthers about. You can be a Christian, you can believe in the Bible and everything else, and you don't have to be a flat earther. They believe you have to be if you're Christian. You know what I mean? I don't think you need to be.
It pisses me off, and I know I've said this in the past. The whole religion versus science debate is so annoying, because if you took every religious text and every science text on the planet and burned it all and gave us 1,000 years, the science books would be rewritten the exact same way, because it's based on scientific process and experimentation and things you could touch and feel, versus the religious text would come back probably completely fucking different, because it's just remade. So I'm so sick of that argument. It's so annoying.
See, I believe that you can be a Christian, you can believe in God, but the Bibles themselves were written by man and interpreted by how they seem fit. You know what I mean? So if you do believe in all that aspect, I have nothing against you. You can be spiritual. I think people should be spiritual, but the books themselves are written by men and women, whoever wrote the books. There is nowhere in the Bible, though, that it specifically says the earth is flat. If anyone can find it, because I've tried to find it, there's nowhere in there that says it. They are interpreting what's written in how it's written is always in a poetic way, that it means the earth is flat. And we're getting on the flat earth thing, but I don't think it's flat. We're not in the center of the universe. I think there's a shit ton of other habitable planets out there with probably life on them. The odds are that there is life, then there is no life in this universe, because of how vast it is. And you could be right, where we're not from this planet and we are seeded by aliens, and we're almost like a little ant farm and like a zoo, and they're trying to see how we develop, I think. You know what I mean? Let's go back, put primitive to us, as the aliens would say, on this planet, and see how they would develop and create technology, and see how far they can advance their race of people. And it's a great observation for this other race of alien that's out there.
I genuinely think it's very much a Truman Show situation, but the whole planet is involved.
Yeah, and it's definitely me, because he pisses me off all the time. Like I said, I think there's some kind of game master out there, and I call him Evansby, and I curse him out all the time when something goes wrong.
If it is a simulation, I keep saying it. If it is, fucking unplug me or go into character create and take away my back problems. One or the other.
We have to find a way to get to the cheat menu and change what's going on here, because
that would be sweet.
Too. Just do the what's the Sims money load or something.
It was
the cheat for extra money.
It was Rosebud for the longest time.
Rosebud, yeah. Rosebud cheat in there, just start pouring money in.
Nice little random Citizen Kane reference in a Sims game, but yeah, it's just if it is a simulation, I'm kind of over this game. We could switch to a new one.
Oh man! So my theory was he had the hollow moon, so like basically something to control the planet. Observation deck. I do like that. I do really like that a lot. But mine is, again, like I was saying, the Apollo missions were cover up for the secret missions that we were performing. And I'll go through the list here. We had, to start, we had Apollo 1. That was in January 1967. They're supposed to test the command module in low Earth orbit. We had a couple of astronauts go up there: Gus Grisham, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee. They're supposed to be, the ones testing this thing. Now, Gruss was very outspoken. He was basically always a critic of NASA. He talked about how they were too quick to be doing things, going fast and loose with the safety protocols and whatever. So I believe he, at this point, because what happens later on in this first Apollo, he got wind of the missions that were going on, the secret missions. And he wanted to use them as leverage against NASA to try to, help with safety or whatever. He even went and hung a lemon on the CM, the command module, to show that, hey, this thing's a lemon. You know what I mean? It's a piece of shit. It doesn't work right. So, again, he shows right there, right to NASA, he's defiant, right? He's already making himself. So what does NASA do? You can't have this loose cannon, especially if you're going to have secret missions. So just coincidentally, they try to do a ground test on this test on the command module, and it bursts into flames. The cabin fire kills everyone on board. Everyone. So when you look at that kind of thing, this guy's already outspoken against NASA right off the bat. Apollo 1. Cabin fire kills them all on a ground test. You're telling me you're on the ground. We can't save these guys? Was that bad? You know what I mean? So right there, it kind of throws me off a little bit. So this guy must have known something was going on, and they shut him the fuck up. That's really what I think happened here. So then we go to Apollo 2 and 3. Now, according to NASA's records, these were canceled missions with vague objectives, and then they go right to Apollo 4. But to me, off the bat, wouldn't it make more sense if they would just say Apollo 4 was Apollo 2? Why skip the two numbers if they're canceled? And why cancel them? They're saying they're canceled because of the fire. It makes no sense to me. You still, with their objectives, you would still want these things to be done in this order for it to make sense. Apollo 2 was they're supposed to test the heat shields of the command module. Now, wouldn't you want that to be done? Why would you cancel that after a fire? That's something you really want done. And Apollo 3 was to test the Saturn V's upper rocket stage. Both of these should be done. They say they're canceled. I don't think they're canceled. I think they were just kind of, we'll say they're canceled, and we're still going to go through them because we need to complete our secret objectives. So we had Apollo 2, the vague test heat shields, that's all they say. No press coverage is on it. The telematrix data is lost. No, they can't figure it out. They don't know where it went. It just disappears into thin air. I think this is a test run for the propulsion systems of some kind of alien technology they acquired from the Nazis when they were finding their UFOs and shit like that during World War II, when the Allies got a hold of it. And then they had, Apollo 3, which was testing the upper rocket stages. They didn't carry a command module on it. They did film some stuff. Now, it was supposed to be canceled, but they did film some stuff. It was super grainy. You couldn't even fucking see shit on this film. Nothing at all. And I think what happened was they launched this rocket up. Secret payload, classified information. This was to launch a probe. This is what we're trying to get to. We're launching a probe towards the moon. This rocket on re-entry conveniently just blows up. So there goes your evidence. You blow the fucking thing up on the way in. Everything likes to blow up. Don't worry about the evidence, people. So that thing blows up on the way in. The probe's launched, though. I really think this probe's launched to go to the dark side of the moon and start some mapping jobs. So those two things were canceled, but still have some kind of information on them, even though they're canceled. And we get to Apollo 4, which was, actually performed. It's in their records. This is an Earth orbit test of the Saturn rocket. And again, it has a classified payload. Why are we classifying the payload? This is public information, right? We're trying to do something that everyone should know about, trying to get to the moon. Your payload shouldn't be classified, if you ask me. Maybe technology aboard the ship, I can understand certain sensors or what you use, but the payload itself shouldn't. Why would you classify that? who cares if Soviets know what you're carrying in the ship with you? Unless it's, something that you don't want your own people to know, or if it's alien technology or something like that. So they're trying to do Earth orbit test of Saturn rocket. Now, I'll give you a reference. The International Space Station orbits at about 400 kilometers above the Earth. That's where it orbits. I would say that would be, an Earth orbit test, low Earth orbit. For some reason, this thing orbits at 18,000 kilometers. I would not consider that low Earth orbit. Would you consider that low Earth orbit?
Not
It seems too high to me. It seems way too high. Again, when you have a classified payload and you have this thing orbit at almost 18,000 kilometers, something else is going on here. Again, I believe something else was dropped. A probe, more probes going up there to see what's going on the moon, to set up where we're going to land, where we're going to build, what we're going to mine for, and stuff like that. And again, with the vague objectives of the missions, it leaves a lot to be, deciphered, not deciphered. It leaves you a lot to sit there and contemplate and say, oh, this is bullshit. We can, conspiracy theorists will run with it all the time. Apollo 5 comes around. They just say it's a dry run. That's the objective here. And I think what they were doing here was some kind of prototype autonomous lunar craft. They landed on the dark side of the moon, and now they're going to be scouting for the helium-3 deposits. Because you're going to send this thing up as a dry run with no one in it to circle the moon and come back. But you're dropping something back there. Again, classified payload. They don't want to tell us what's on this rocket. So we're searching for these deposits, and then we're also probably searching for some kind of alien base or Nazi base that's on the planet. And it's probably an alien. I would probably lean more towards that. But a lot of people might not. They like the Nazi side of it. I like the alien side of it. Again, no press coverage when this thing's launched. The cameras malfunction, so they don't give you any type of video feed. And for some reason, again, it's a common theme. It burns up on reentry. There goes your evidence. And the telemetry logs were lost again. It seems to be a common theme. Who's controlling the data and the logs here? Should they still have a job?
No, they should be taken out back and shot.
Because I would lose my job. I really think I would lose my job at this point. But they still, they keep it going. Just keep losing the logs and be fine with it. We don't care because we don't want people to know about them anyway. Apollo 6 now. This is the failed Saturn V test. But I say it's failed as bullshit. It does reach where it's supposed to go. I don't know why it failed. It does orbit the moon. But they fail because of strange vibrations they detected on the rocket. Now, I don't think the whole I think there was, how many people were involved in this? The whole Apollo team that was involved on the ground and everything else. There's a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
400,000. Was that big? That much? 40,000? 40,000? Whatever it is. I don't think everyone knew about the secret mission part of it. I think everyone knew about the Apollo missions, but not the secret mission part of it behind the scenes. So I can see when some guy in base and ground control, whatever, sees these strange vibrations and starts making note of it, they're probably like, oh fuck, yeah, all right, we'll say it's a glitch, we got it, it's failed, bring it back, we don't want, we'll look into it, it must be something wrong with it. But I see the strange vibrations is like the Rendleshire, right, UFO incident. They talk about vibrations, right? The thing was still vibrating or humming when it landed.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of radiation.
Yeah, I see it's something to do with this. Some kind of other alien technology they have on the shuttle that they're bringing up or testing behind the scenes. We're using these Saturn V rockets, but we're also trying this other alien propulsion because we're trying to reverse engineer it. And that's what the problem was here. That's what they saw. And since this guy, who probably isn't, involved in the secret mission, the black ops side of it, sees something going on, they have to say, oh, it's a glitch. Something's going on here. We got to bring it back. We got to check it out. It's failed. The mission failed. But it's not. It didn't fail. They definitely went up there. I think they brought some kind of nuclear, if it's radiation causing the vibration, some kind of power cell that was either reverse engineered from aliens or we built ourselves and dropped it off on the dark side of the moon for preparation of some kind of base. They're saying it failed, but they got to extremely high orbit. It actually left Earth's orbit and went towards the moon. And there was no video feed again. Something wrong with the cameras. Like always.
Well, there's a lot to go into with the alien aspect of it, because even the astronauts had said stuff in interviews about aliens.
Yes, 100%. And yeah, when we start getting manned missions up there, yeah, they mention stuff. So just a kind of brief overview of these 6, before I get into the next ones, because I don't forget what's going on here. Apollo 1 was basically just a silence freaking Gruss, right? Shut him up. He's obviously a loose cannon. We can't keep him quiet. We thought we could trust him. We can't. He's dead. Apollos 2 and 3 were the ghost flights that we, kind of were hidden, launched at night. We were sending probes, and then we, erased all the data for that. And then Apollos 4 through 6, it was, dealing with advanced alien tech they were trying to reverse, and basically bringing up base building supplies to start mining and searching for the helium-3 to mine. That's what I think those Apollo missions were all about, starting there. You know what I mean? So then we got the first, Apollo 7 was the first. It was October 11th through 22nd, 1968. Was the first crewed low orbit for around the Earth. And there's another thing that makes no sense. They orbited Earth for the first crewed one at 250 kilometers. Now, why are these other ones, when they're testing the Saturn, they're orbiting at 18,000 kilometers? You know what I mean? So these guys are like, all right, let's have them orbit low. See if we can get a read for them, I guess. See if they're gonna talk, be like Gruss over there and spill the beans, or what are they doing? So they kind of orbit them low to the ground. The vague freaking descriptions of the mission was test crew performance and verify system operations. That's it. Nothing else. They don't talk about anything else. They don't get into detail what happened or anything. But again, classified payload on the ship. They don't talk about it. It's all classified, redacted from the files. You can't read it. No one can read it. And sensors. They did not talk. They classified all the sensors on the ship. The crew, which was also odd, that was up there, they clashed with ground control and actually refused orders. That was redacted. We don't know what's going on there. If it was just a dry run, you know what I mean? If we're just orbiting the Earth and coming back, why is your crew fighting your ground control guys? Why would they be fighting them? Why are they refusing orders? It's just orbit. Does that make sense to you?
No.
Why would there be a fight going on up there? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I think maybe they were detecting some kind of alien signals coming from the moon, or, something like that. They intercepted, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? And then they started getting all fucking mad about shit and everything else. Wally, the one astronaut up there, he would not answer anyone's questions after the mission. Did not talk to anyone about it. Barely would talk to reporters or anything, and retired shortly after. Did not want any part of this anymore. It sounds to me like he signed something, keep your mouth shut, gag orders and stuff. And he was like, fuck this, I'm not doing this no more, and retired. And at the not wanting to get burned to death in a command module accident, he decided to keep his mouth shut. That's my theory on this. You know what I mean? They only put select telemetry logs out to everyone and TV clips. You did not get the full information when these things were going on. And I think the audio blackouts, because you're only orbiting the Earth. So it's not like we're on the dark side of the moon where you got the moon blocking you. You're only orbiting the Earth. We had blackouts in audio transmission. And I think that was when they were switching to the secret channels to kind of communicate about other things that they didn't want the general public to know. Makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense to me. We're gonna pray, but I just looking into all this stuff. I think there's something going on here besides just landing on the moon.
Well, the gaps in the audio. So each astronaut their suits are fitted with, their own radios, obviously, but they get their own channel. They get like their own it's like a medical channel.
Yeah.
So if something's going on, they cut to that channel to contact with ground control, and then people listening in can't hear that specific channel. So if they had something secretive they wanted to talk about, they would switch to that and just say what they had to say. Usually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and it's going to cut out. It's going to black out your audio, right? You're not going to hear it.
Right.
Yeah. That's probably exactly what was going on up there. Especially with this guy. I mean, the guy freaking retired right after. Didn't want any part of this anymore. So then we got Apollo 8, moving along here, December 21st through 27th. This was the first human mission to orbit the moon. They were supposed to orbit 10 times around the moon. While they're up there, for some reason, they were reading Genesis verses. Now, I believe this was more of a distraction. They were reading these Genesis verses, distracting the public when it's during their, when it's being broadcasted to the planet, and it was sending data back down to Area 51 on other information that they needed to get out without the public kind of knowing what's going on. That was the whole point of that whole thing. It could have been, location of different mining sites for the helium. It could have been location of different base ruins for aliens or Nazis, if there was active aliens on the planet, and so forth. That's kind of what I think was going on there, just to kind of get a little bit more information back on where to land, where to start doing things, what kind of, if you need to defend yourself and stuff like that. And then we had Apollo 9, which was March 3rd through 13th. They were supposed to test the command module and lunar module in Earth orbit and then perform spacewalks. Schweigert said he had weird feelings about this. And again, after they were done with this, whatever the weird feelings is that came through on the audio logs, the lunar module was destroyed again. Once it landed, they destroyed it. They got rid of it. Why don't even keep it for a museum piece? Just destroy it. Whatever. Even if you're going to decommission it, why destroy it? Makes no sense. I guess you don't want the Soviets getting a hold of it somehow. Beats me. Stupid, to be honest. Apollo 10, which was May 18th through 26th, 1969. This was a dress rehearsal for the moon landings. Orbit moon, get to within 15 kilometers of the surface and then come back, not actually land on it. This was, again, I think, more scanning and dropping probes and finding out where exactly we're supposed to land before we get into the shit. If we land on the planet, we need to have some kind of plan on what we're doing here. And then, Apollo 11 comes. This is the landing, right? July 16th to 24th, 1969. Now, you don't think they actually landed during this time?
I don't think this exact one, no, but just that whole mission, part of it makes me laugh, and I feel bad for the module pilot, command module pilot, because you had Neil Armstrong, famously one small step for man, all that shit, first one to walk on the moon. 20 minutes later, you get Buzz Aldrin out there, and then the two of them are having the time of their life. But just, up above them, floating around, you got the cuck. You get the cuck. Michael
he gets
Collins.
to watch.
Yeah. He's got to watch from orbit as two people below him make history. And he has to float up there with his dick in his hand, saying, wow, that could have been me.
Could have been, but you're not. Yep.
It's not. You came back almost a hero. But
he was in the cuck chair.
He was in the orbiting cuck chair in the sky, just watching them just float around.
Yeah, no, I think it actually happened. They were up there. You had the video and audio just as a distraction. Look, we went there. Nothing else is going on behind the scenes. We went there, guys. Don't ask any more questions. I think that's what this was. Show the people we're there just to do a moonwalk. Meanwhile, we've already had shit on the moon, and we're figuring out what's going on. But this is what we're looking at, guys. Just stay looking over here. There's radio chatter intercepted about aliens, right? Talk about alien lights. They're seeing lights and stuff.
Yeah, so Buzz Aldrin mentioned that. That when they weren't even on the surface of the moon yet, they saw out the window of their craft, glowing orbs flying nearby. And then they wanted to, at this point, they couldn't switch to a secret chat because they were in touch with all of, NASA. Everybody in the building was fucking listening in. But they wanted to mention it in a secretive way. So instead of saying, like, hey guys, there's a fucking UFO, what do we do?
Yeah.
Instead, they decided to ask, do you have any idea where the S-4B, which is part of the rocket that had blown off, is with respect to us? And then they kept it cryptic. So, cryptic, I should say. With that, they're like...
cryptid on mine.
Yeah, they kept cryptids out there. There's a fucking big ape in the sky throwing shit at people. No, so instead of saying, like, hey, there's a UFO, they're like, hey, where's that part of the ship that blew off? Basically saying, like, hey, we fucking see something.
Yes.
Like, guys, get a load of this shit.
There's absolutely no reason for them to want to know where this is there?
No, for what?
There's no reason. So, I think they had some kind of cryptic thing going on to see, if you see this, this is what we say. And, yeah, he was mentioning lights and stuff in the sky. And I think that was other, craft that were up there. And we know... the orbs, we going back to, the Foo Fighters during World War II, what the Allies saw. And even up to now, we see these orbs floating. Something else is going on. I mean, there's no way people over, decades, even more than that now, could be all seeing the same orbs glowing, moving around erratically in the sky, and it not be some kind of connection or something going on besides just you're seeing things. Because that's what those pilots were told during World War II. Oh, you're just tired. You're seeing things. The sun's playing tricks on you and all this other shit. Dude, these pilots are experienced. I think they know what light looks like when they're flying up there. They have to have so many, hours, probably hundreds of hours of flight time to be able to do what they're doing to be a bomber pilot.
Yeah.
And the same thing with these orbs are now, the sun's playing tricks on them out there by the moon? I don't understand that, and I do see that as the excuse. Oh no, there's, light dancing around and whatever. There's nothing. It's a vacuum of space. There's barely anything around you. What is light bouncing off of to even produce something like this? It makes no sense to me.
Well,
something was there.
Something was definitely there, and then with going back to what the audio, like gaps in the audio, there was a notable 2-minute gap in the radio transmission. Yeah. And people who had ham radios at the time, they knew how to pick up frequencies, claimed to have picked up the medical channels that they would have switched to talk to ground control without anyone else hearing. And a lot of them said that what they were hearing is them saying, they're parked by the crater, they've been watching us, we're not alone.
Yes.
And they also said that they saw crafts parked, I say parked like it's a fucking Walmart. They were sitting, yards away, but they saw flying saucers is what they were saying.
Yes.
So that, and then you think oh, well, this is all bullshit. That's stupid. But then just watch the footage of when they come back. And then they're doing interviews and all the TV coverage of these three. Not one of them is excited to be there. They all look terrified. Like they saw some shit that they definitely were not supposed to see.
Exactly. They all do. They all look... people. I mean, we have people retiring right afterwards, right? Not speaking about it, retiring, leaving... You're not just going to get that from going to space, because I feel like going to space, I'm going to tell people about it. I would love to talk about it, especially to a flat earther if I got up into orbit. You know what I mean? And you're going to have... You don't want to say a word? You want to retire now? You just got in the orbit. You could be one of the guys actually walking on the moon, and you just want to retire. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me at all. It doesn't.
One of my goals now... I've just thought of this for our podcast down the line. If we, do
a podcast from space,
that, and I want to bring a flat earther with us, and then have them step out and do a spacewalk and be like, "What part of this is fake, asshole?"
And they're gonna say it's all CGI.
It's all CGI. If I can't take the helmet off and see with my own eyes, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's through the helmet. You have a screen on the helmet. Yeah. I get it.
We're actually just
All right,
sitting
take
in
it
your
off, bro.
garage.
Just take it off. Just take it off.
Yeah, pop that helmet off. See how fake it is, asshole. Yeah, and if you refuse to take the helmet off, then you're feeding into our bullshit. So fuck you. You're proving us right.
Yes, exactly. Because you're scared. You think you know it's a vacuum. You're gonna have a hard time breathing. Then we have Apollo 12. After that, it's a second landing. This landing is, performed to set up a military outpost and more scouting of helium-3. That's really what happened during this time. And then camera failure. Again, I said this is noted in here. Camera failure. Lost all far side views of the moon. Couldn't get those pictures and video in for some reason. They're claiming it's because of the sun. The sun's rays. They pointed it at the sun and it fried the camera. Allegedly, somehow, I guess. Could be possible, I guess. I don't know how cameras work in a vacuum looking at the sun. Then we have Apollo 13. We had the movie about it, right? It's actually a good movie. How do you feel? You like the movie, Josh?
I love that movie.
It is a great movie. But yeah, so if you watch the movie, you know what happened. They had the oxygen stirs, it blows the tank up. They can't land. The guy has a cold or something. I guess he's dying up there. Back taxes, right? His taxes get extended. He's not paying taxes. Whatever's going on. So you had the oxygen tank. I think it's some kind of sabotage. Now, what happened was, I think in Apollo 12, something we claimed maybe some helium deposit that was also maybe already claimed by aliens, and now they're sending a message. Could have been a little explosion. It might not have been the oxygen tanks, because again, that was jettisoned off and destroyed. But right, it was even show it in the movie, right? That the thing that blew up, that was in the, I guess, the lunar module. When they jettison off, they see that so we never get to see that. We don't get to expect that on the way back home. We just take their word for it. I think there was an alien encounter there, and they fucking just tried to kill them all, and they blew the ship up, and they just came back somehow and survived that because we're encroaching on some kind of alien deposit that they already claimed.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack, but you did mention the movie. Good. And I'm looking at the IMDb because I was like, who was in that movie? I completely forget. I remember Tom Hanks, I remember Ed Harris and Gary Sinise, but I'm looking at the IMDb. Fucking Clint Howard was in Apollo 13. What the fuck was he doing there? What part did he play?
What did he play?
Oh, he was one of the NASA scientists that
you never fucking pay attention to.
Yeah, one of the ground control people was all sitting in that big room. They landed. Ugh.
Kevin Bacon's in it. You didn't even mention him.
Bill Paxton. I mentioned him either.
Everyone did Tom Hanks. Fuck Tom Hanks, right?
Why? Bastard. What's wrong with Tom Hanks? We got against Tom Hanks. The fuck?
He molested Wilson. But anyway, we're going to go to Apollo 14. If you watch Castaway, he definitely did some stuff. Apollo 14 is January 31st through February 9th in 71. This is the third landing. They began drilling for helium-3, I believe, during this. And they were supposed to do this during Apollo 13, but we had the incident. So they kind of landed in a different area and began drilling. Ed Mitchell he's one of the guys who went up there, started talking about unusual phenomena over the radio waves. It was intercepted. They were asking what the hell he's talking about. And what's weird about it is that when he comes back, he is extremely interested all of a sudden. His family's like, what the fuck? It never happened before. In ESP and UFOs. Never showed interest in this crap before. Goes to the moon. Comes back. And is extremely interested in ESP. Now, a lot of theories talk about how aliens communicate in ESP, right?
Mm-hmm.
They use their brain to talk to you through inside your head and everything else. So if this actually happened, why would couldn't it be a reason why he'd be all of a sudden interested in it?
Yeah, maybe one of these aliens he came in contact with, and he's like, that fucker doesn't have a mouth, but he's talking to me.
Yeah, and he saw the UFO, he saw the craft when he was landing. Maybe we have some kind of mutual understanding and boundaries on the moon, claiming certain areas, and the people who did Apollo 12 fucked up and kind of claimed some of their the aliens helium-3 deposit, like I was talking about before, and that's why they attacked 13. But 14 gets back, and maybe they talked to him. They kind of worked it out a little bit, and that's why he's so interested in ESP and UFOs. They might not, they probably, most alien races, I don't believe, are hostile where they're just going to try to kill everyone. I think they're all just trying to work it out among the universe, and they're just, using us as some kind of learning lesson, see how we develop and everything else. That's just me. Right? Could be. Prove me wrong. Apollo 15. July 26th through August 7th, 1971. This is the fourth landing. Again, continued drilling for helium-3. Now, the reported on the lunar data and everything was moonquakes. And what I would see these moonquakes are is just drilling blasts, right? You're blasting into the surface of the moon to try to get to some kind of helium deposit. A lot of people mentioned that these don't seem natural. The moonquakes that were recorded during this Apollo mission did not seem natural when studied by the ground crew. That's what makes me believe it's more of some kind of demo charges that was used to blast through the surface to get to deeper deposits of helium-3. Again, the freaking camera's blurry, grainy bullshit. You can't see anything going on. No pictures of the far side. They're all fucked up. Why don't we ever get a good picture of the backside of the moon, right? You know what I mean? Never get one. Apollo 16 happened after that, April 16th through 27th, 1971. This is the fifth landing, and we get some photographs. What it looks like appears to be alien ruins. Now, if you look at these pictures from Apollo 16, there's dome anomalies in the photos. And they don't look like any type of natural occurrence on the moon. It looks like some kind of intelligent made structure of some kind. And I believe this is also the mission to test where to put a permanent base instead of just having a temporary outpost on the moon. The dome anomaly photos do show up. You can look them up. What are those things? They don't look natural to me on the moon at all. And I think someone fucked up and got those pictures out, and they really should have been more grainy to try to hide those, like every other fucking mission before this.
Realistically, they could just keep releasing the same fucking picture of the moon and say it's a different one. No one's gonna know.
No one's gonna know. Except for it's me and you. We would figure that out quick.
Yeah. That crater should be over there. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is fucking bullshit right now. And we had Apollo 17, which was, according to NASA, the last Apollo mission. The other ones were canceled due to budget cuts, so they say. So we have December 7th through 1972, the sixth and final landing on the moon. They finalized a base, I think is going on here, and they're negotiating with these aliens over territorial parts of the moon to extract this helium-3. You got to look at this point, they wanted huge amounts of weight and rocks back on this last trip. And they can slowly increase the amount of rocks brought back every trip. But this one is just overly ridiculous. It's almost 4 times as much rocks than any of the previous ones. What's all that weight about? You know what I mean? So what are they bringing? What are they doing? Is it just rocks? What do we need all these fucking rocks for? I guess they want to check them out, but so many fucking rocks. Again, leaked transcripts from audio logs. The astronauts mentioned lights and bases in the distance. These orbs also floating around. So, when you break down these Apollo missions, and we have the last 3 that are like, the ones that they say were canceled, which I don't think they were. You had Apollo 8, 10, 11, 14, and 17. I think these were alien encounters. And they were found in ruins, and these things were kind of scrubbed by NASA through the audio logs, the pictures and stuff, the grainy pictures and everything. And you can kind of add, I guess, Apollo 13 as an alien encounter because they attacked the ship. Then we had 14, 15, 16, and 17. I think these were all mining for helium-3 missions. That's why we had those moonquakes were kind of listed in some of these, especially 15 and 16. And, 15 being the one where they were just completely too big to be natural. The other ones had smaller ones, but 15 was like over the top. And then 12, 15, and 16 were also military base prep, I believe, testing vehicles and sensors on the moon for either observation of aliens or to communicate with them. That's what I think was going on here. And then 18 through 20, I think, are the canceled missions. These are undercover missions to try to, we don't need we have the funding already. We can't keep, I don't want to keep faking the trips there with some other bullshit. Just send them up at night. Don't even tell anyone, and just finish off these Apollo missions that we're trying to do because we want to get this helium-3. Now, if we look at these Soviet photos during Apollo 18, they have some kind of probe, I guess, go around the back. There's anomalies on the far side of the moon in the Soviet pictures that just do not look like they could be natural occurrences like the other pictures we took. There's some kind of basis set up or something going on there. Again, Apollo 19, just more helium-3 mining. Continued this mining on of helium-3. And Apollo 20, I don't know if you've seen that video or that hoax, or not video, but transcript. Apollo 20 is apparently where we encountered this UFO. There was another UFO encountered. It was probably, they believe it was a mining craft by the aliens to mine helium-3 with the dead alien in there. That's Apollo 20. I mean, I think the video, if they made a video of it, because I heard rumors of this video, I didn't find it. That's probably bullshit. They're not going to have a video of it. But we probably have something encountered, and then someone took their imagination based on transcripts and went wild with it. Now, apparently, I don't know if I told you what helium-3 really is, but it's a rare isotope on Earth. But it's very abundant on the moon because of the solar winds always battering the surface. It doesn't have a atmosphere to protect from that. And you got billions of years of solar wind that makes this helium-3. And it's used to, like, nuclear fusion. And if you think about the time, we're in the Cold War along with Vietnam. We're in an arms race against the Soviets, especially in a nuclear arms race. Helium-3 would be a great way to be able to, one, overcome nuclear, and just completely, I guess I should say, dominate the nuclear arms race and make way more than they could ever imagine. And two, dominate the energy sector with limitless clean energy. Now, obviously, I guess there's some setbacks. Either one, we never completely finished this mission, or two, we did, and we just don't get it because then, if you have unlimited clean energy here in the United States, the price of energy is going to go down and people are going to lose a lot of money. And, big oil and all that don't want that. So we continue to pay our higher prices if you don't, without this clean energy. So I think that's where we were really going there, is this helium-3 deposits. And there was an alien race that were obviously trying to get the same helium-3 for their ships or craft if they're running on fusion power to get around. And we were just, clashing over these resources. We wanted to be energy dominant during the Cold War. We wanted to get, our nuclear arsenal much greater than what the Soviets had at the time, just in case we did get into an all-out war with the Soviets. And why would you not want unlimited energy if you're the U.S. government? You'd spend all the money in the world you could if it meant you can harness this energy. That's my spiel.
I like your spiel.
That's what I think, really. I think these were, like I was saying, I think these Apollo missions were all a cover-up to try to get as much free energy as we could. When I say free, I meant fusion, because nuclear fusion compared to fission gives you a lot more energy for your dollar. And if we could harness that, I mean, geez, you don't have to worry about oil or anything else like that. Maybe the government does have it, and that's why we have things like when you talk about Ashton Forbes with the MH370 and the orbs floating with their free energy at plasma manipulation to zap a plane out of the sky and stuff like that. We might have behind the scenes free energy, but it doesn't benefit anyone besides the elites if we let the people have it, because then you have unlimited free energy. You don't have to worry about paying for energy. Everyone loses money. Freaking big oil and all them crash, and people are broke. They don't have the money they used to have. So that's why I think you can get that, but you got to make sure it stays under wraps.
I agree with that. I also, not to break away for a second, I think they lied about what they drank on the ship. Because the official astronaut drink was Tang.
No, it couldn't have been. I know what I would bring up there.
I also know what I would bring up there. And I think they told the American people that it was Tang, but no, I think they went up there with a whole silo worth of Ovaltine.
I had to have been. Dude, if you want to encounter an alien on a foreign, and not even on your own land, if you want to, you're up there and you're fighting an alien or negotiating with an alien about territorial gains on the moon, you're going to want Ovaltine in your system. One, that alien's going to see that you're buff as shit now, right? You have all the leverage at that point. It is afraid of you. You're chock full of Ovaltine. You're ready to negotiate anything. And they're going to back down. Because they don't want to fuck with that. So we get that territorial advantage over the helium-3. That's why we're allowed to have helium-3 to begin with mining. The aliens would be like, fuck you. If they went up there with Tang and drank Tang during these negotiations, these aliens would tell you to get the fuck off the moon. Right? They wouldn't give you shit. Every single one would be Apollo 13. But no, they went there with Ovaltine, and they were a little nervous about that.
Well, you gotta look at it this way. Apollo 11, you get aliens surrounding this lunar module, and you get Neil Armstrong coming out, and then Buzz Aldrin, and they're like, oh, these guys are wimps. What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
And then he comes out sipping an Ovaltine.
Oh,
It's one small step for man, one giant boot in your ass if you fucking try anything. You great dick. I'm gonna fuck you up, and fucking Collins is gonna be up there in the cuck chair watching the whole game go down. So fuck you.
Collins is drinking the Tang, right?
Collins got the Tang, but he's sitting in the cuck chair just enjoying the show.
I'm telling you, yeah, if the aliens saw you come out drinking Tang, there is no way they take you seriously.
They spit on your shoes.
You're fucked. You come out drinking Ovaltine, their sensors would pick that up and see that those vitamins and minerals and that nutrition in that drink. They would lose their mind. They would be like, oh, fuck this shit. We ain't dealing with this guy.
It's just such a funny visual to have these two just white middle-aged Americans drinking Ovaltine on the moon when you got Collins up in the cuck chair drinking a can of Tang and watching aliens get nervous.
That's a new something new on my bucket list. I gotta drink Ovaltine while in Earth's orbit.
Dude, you wouldn't even need a spacesuit.
And then on the moon. And it's just gonna be pumped into my suit. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be in the suit and it gets pumped in. Maybe just IV'd right in. You're right into my vein.
You wouldn't need the suit. You just fucking walk out there.
Oh,
you're your own atmosphere if you drink enough Ovaltine.
Oh, man. When I went for my endoscopy, when they put the IV in, I should have said, can you pump that with Ovaltine? Right into my vein.
You would have two people say, what the fuck is Ovaltine? And the third person be like, really?
The propofol would never, if they pumped that into me, the propofol would never knock me out. They would be pumping so much freaking anesthesia into me and I'd still be awake.
Dude, they would pump Ovaltine into your veins and then they would try to insert a second needle and it would snap on your skin. Be like, whoa, what the fuck does this guy got going on? Dude, we
drink a ton of it.
Dude, we do. We talk about Ovaltine so much on this show. Every episode, in fact. But, like, you guys got to understand. This is what Joe and I grew up on. Like,
it's good stuff.
We grew up, our grandparents would give us this delicious chocolatey beverage. And for the longest time, like, yeah, it's just, chocolate milk. Enjoy it. We fucking chugged that shit for years. And then we find out it's got, like, vitamins in it. And we're like, that's epic as shit, dude.
So, I had an Amazon Fresh order. Now, get this. Understand this. And I ordered Ovaltine, obviously. I get the Ovaltine.
Yeah.
They fucked up.
What?
They brought me... Not only did they bring me Hershey syrup,
Ugh.
they brought me sugar-free Hershey syrup.
Who is that for?
I don't know. So I was like, all right, let me see what goes on here. Never try to make chocolate milk with sugar-free Hershey syrup. It won't blend into the milk. I'm not even making a joke. Dude, you know how at least when you put syrup in it, it sinks to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
It floated. The syrup floated in the milk. I'm like, how is this You can't mix it. I mixed it. It was vigorously mixing it. I should have tried to put it in a blender. It was just separating into the little beads of chocolate bullshit in this cup of milk, and it barely turned it brown. And then when you drink it, it's like drinking pulp. Dude, it was the worst experience of chocolate milk I've ever had in my life. No one will drink that now. I'm not drinking any more of that fucking sugar-free shit. I'm going to have to go right to the store tomorrow during work and just get Ovaltine directly. Because I am spoiled. Yeah, I just get Amazon Fresh. Dude, we have the food delivered all to the house. And they do fuck up sometimes. But to me, it's, sometimes the fuck up is worth not having to spend my time at the store. So I just get it all through there. And when they fuck up other things, it's all right. But you fuck up my Ovaltine, and you give me Hershey syrup that is sugar-free, there's a fucking problem.
I used to work for Amazon. I didn't work at the grocery department, but I would love to see who the asshole is who works there and who gets to decide what to substitute. Because every time they do, it's something so far away from what you wanted.
It's 100% so far away. And I think I brought it up, I don't know if I did or not, in another episode. So I ordered different breads. So I ordered hot dog buns, hamburger buns, Italian bread, white bread, and rye bread. Did I bring this up in another episode? I'm not sure. You know what they did? Instead of getting all the separate ones, the hot dog buns, hamburger buns, Italian bread, like the long loaf, because I was going to be making pasta, white bread and rye bread. I got, instead of the 5 difference, I got 5 things of hot dog buns. I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking to myself, dude, motherfucker, like, you honestly think that it's okay to just give me 5 packages of hot dog buns? You see me, I'm going to be making burgers. I'm going to make hot dogs. Okay, yeah, I got the hot dog buns. I'm making burgers. I can't put the burgers on the hot dog buns. I'm going to have hot dog buns with my pasta instead of nice Italian bread. I'm going to make my sandwiches with freaking hot dog buns. Yeah, I got cold cuts here. I'm putting it on a hot dog bun? What the fuck's going on?
It's all bread.
It's all bread. That's what they thought. Fuck it, it's all bread.
Fucking animals. Oh, my God. Dude, if I got sugar-free fucking syrup, I'd kill myself. As I've had it by mistake, and it was trash, and I threw it at the wall.
Dude, I got it. It's gone. I literally cannot drink it. It was the most putrid fucking thing. Besides the taste being awful, yeah. I have to deal with it basically being like orange juice with pulp. The little balls of fucking chocolate sliding. Like, it's disgusting.
Ugh. I've upped my Ovaltine game. Oh
boy.
Because I would mix it, with the spoon, like a regular person. But then I found my alcohol mixer. The little silver thing that you see them shaking behind the bar. And I put the ingredients in that, and I shake the shit out of it, and I pour it in the cup, and I've never felt fancier. That's fucking awesome.
See, I use a power stirrer, I guess you could. You put the 2 batteries in it, and you hit the button on top, and it has that. It looks like almost like a spring in a round circle on the bottom with an arm that comes down to it, and it spins it.
Oh, yeah.
I use them, and it kind of gives you a little bit of froth, too. It kind of aerates the chocolate milk a little bit, gives it a little bit more aeration to it, makes it real nice.
Yeah, that sounds good. I just have these memories of being a small child, and my grandmother, in between smoking cigarettes in the house, because it was the 90s, she would make it for me in the blender, and it was magical. I was like, this is incredible. But I also laugh that we're the only ones in our group of friends who drink Ovaltine, and everyone else is like, nah, it's not good.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. We have another friend. I won't name him. He says he can't drink it because it what was he? I think it's just too much nutrients for his body to handle, right? Doesn't he? It makes him get hot flashes or something.
His body rejects some bullshit. It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much nutrients. His body cannot handle that kind of nutrition, and I understand. It's fine. You can't handle it. You can't handle it. The Ovaltine picks the person. You know what I mean? It doesn't pick him. So.
No, because also, and he's going to kill me for saying it, but we've gone out to dinner with him, and this is the same person who will order a pitcher of root beer and then drink the entirety of it with a straw, just himself. And then wonders why vitamins reject his body.
He's not buff as shit like Josh.
I'm fucking shredded, bro.
Well, Apollo, yes. Moon landing happened, but it's not what you think it did, right? That's the whole gist of this episode before we really went on a tangent about chocolate milk.
It's fine. The people need to know, all right? These are the facts.
It's true. It is true. You guys needed to know, and we brought it to you. If you haven't tried Ovaltine yet, you really need to get on it and try it. Do not drink sugar-free Hershey syrup in milk. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. Here's everybody's homework in between episodes. Contact Hershey's and ask them what the fuck were they thinking with that sugar-free shit, and then also contact Nestle and tell them that Ovaltine needs to sponsor us.
Yes. Tell them you're buying Ovaltine, and Joe and Josh from the Conspiracy Kitchen podcast have sent you.
Who?
Who? All right, guys, and we're going to get you an episode out at the end of the week. We're going to get back on track here, just for you guys.
Yes, we're very sorry for the delay once again, but shit happens.
All right, guys. Until next time.
Bye.
And Jackson Dart and Camp Scatterby are the best football players.